You're listening to Behind the Scenes at the Sacramento Comedy Spot with your hosts Justine Lopez and Jennifer Steele. So, let's go behind the scenes with the producers, performers, and friends of the Sacramento Comedy Spot.
Hi there, it's Jennifer Steele, and I'll tell you a little bit about me. I am in radio here in Sacramento. I work at 101.5 K-Hits, and I was so pleased and happy to meet my new friend, Justine Lopez, at the Sacramento Comedy Spot. So, hi, Justine. How are you?
I'm good, Jen.
We thought it might be kind of fun to get together and do a little podcast for the Comedy Spot.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We have good guests currently, right now. We have Mel Gelbart at the Cat House Studios right now. And how we're going to start the show is we're always going to start off with an improv warm-up. So I asked Mel just a couple hours ago, I said, hey, what's your favorite warm-up game? And she said, I don't know. Oh. Or sorry, I done know. I don't know. And then she said, big booty.
Oh,
she likes to play big booty.
Okay.
So, Jen, have you played this before?
I don't think I've played this one.
Okay. I'll explain it.
Okay.
So typically this is played with a bunch of people, so it's going to be pretty funny just to play it with the three of us.
It's not going to make any sense.
It'll make the most sense, okay?
Do we have to stand up?
No, we don't have to stand up. It's perfect. So I will be big booty.
Okay.
Mel is number 1. Jen, you're number 2.
Okay.
Okay? It starts off with a chant, and it goes, big booty, big booty, big booty. Aw, yeah.
Okay.
Right? That's all you have to know. Okay? And then from there, I will say big booty. So I'm in big booty. So I'll go big booty number 1. And then Mel goes,
number 1, big booty.
Big booty number 2. Then you say number 2.
Big booty?
No. Yeah, you can bring it back to me.
Okay.
Or pass it to number 1.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Okay. But if you mess up, we all go yay, and you go back to the back line. But if one of you messes up, it's either 1 or 2, or if I mess up, I go to the number 2 spot.
Okay.
So
we have to remember what spot you're into. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I like to do the distraction technique. So it's all.
Or I like to do it where I'm looking at Mel, but I say number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
It's very sneaky.
Yeah, it's sneaky.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's all on beat too. So then if you
mess up the beat.
If you're off beat, then we all go, "Ah, yeah."
I had this problem in class too.
Well, this is why I started this podcast.
Oh,
Just kidding. We're gonna work on some skills.
Excellent.
All right.
Play along at home. Too.
Yes, play along at home. You're number 3.
They're never going to respond.
Well, you know what? Email us.
Scream to us.
Scream to us. All right, here we go. Big booty, big booty, big booty. Oh, yeah. Big booty number 1.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 2, big booty.
Big booty number 2.
Number 2, number 1.
Number 1, big booty.
Big booty number 2.
Number 2, big booty.
Big booty number 1.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 2, big booty.
Big booty number 2.
Number 2, number 1.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 2, number 1.
Number 1, big booty.
Big booty number 1.
Number 1, big booty.
Big booty number 2.
Number 2, big booty.
Big booty number 1.
Number 1, big booty.
Big booty number 2.
Number 2, number 1.
Number 1, big booty.
Big booty number 1.
Number 1, number 2.
Number 1.
2.
Oh, yeah.
I am big booty.
Yeah, so Mel would be big booty now.
Okay.
And now I'm number 2, and now you're number 1.
Okay. That would just really confuse me, so I'm glad we're stopping.
Well, that was big booty. Well,
That
thank
was
you.
great.
Thanks for warming up.
Thanks,
everybody.
guys. That was
Nice
fun.
Good job. Good job. Clap,
Very
clap,
good.
clap, clap, clap,
Very
clap, clap. So today we're going to talk to Mel. She is an amazing performer, also friend, also just great person in general. Mel, the first time I think I ever met you was because you were my coach on Herald Night. And I'll never forget the note that you gave me that I now tell my 101 students. So the first show that I ever did on Herald Night, which was our Wednesday night show, I was fresh off the college theater scene, so I was very showy and I wanted to get out there playing characters, doing everything. And I was like, yeah, I killed that. And we have notes afterwards. And Mel gave me this note that I think I need to get tattooed somewhere. She said, "This is not the Justine show." And I was like, you are so right. Like, I didn't realize that in improv, it's not just you on stage. You're sharing the stage with everybody. It's not about you.
Right.
It's all about making others look good, not just yourself. And so I've carried that note that you gave me through everything that I do, like especially on stage, where it's like, yeah, that's where the comedy comes from, because it's the give and take of it all. And it's like, it's not about me. That it's true. But you were so blunt about it. And that's what I loved about her coaching, was that she will tell you straight to your face, like, this is what you need to work on. And that's like the best coaching ever.
That's great.
And so that was like my intro to Mel. And I was like, I love you so much. So Mel, today.
I've never had a good filter. Honesty and bluntness.
Well, that's good.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, that is a good thing. I'm the worst at bluntness, so I need a little bit of you.
I've found that most of the students and performers I've worked with, everybody wants the truth.
Yeah.
And people don't like giving other people the truth because they don't want to be hurtful or mean or whatever. But most people I've given feedback to, that even when it's harsh, seem glad for it, because you can't fix it if you don't know the problem is. And there's nothing worse than like not getting cast on a team or not getting the feedback, the positive reviews you want, and not knowing why, when everyone knows why and no one's telling you.
Yeah, and that's how we learn, right?
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can't see it yourself. You're not carrying around a mirror on stage, or every show's recorded and you watch it back and But still, even if it's recorded, it's hard to give yourself notes, right?
It really is.
From an outside perspective, you need that. But anyway, Mel, we're here to talk about Lady Business, which will be happening December 17th, 8 p.m., every third Saturday of the month. And Mel is the last original cast member?
That is a fact.
That is a fact. So Mel, can you describe Lady Business, like, as the show? Like, what is it? If you're watching the show, what is Lady Business? What are you going to see?
So Lady Business is an all-female improv show. I would describe it as sort of fast-paced, smart, wacky, crazy, physical, improvisational comedy. It's based on true stories about the cast. So the cast share true stories from their lives, and then we do scenes based on those stories.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's changed. It's not what it always was, but that's what it is now. It's evolved over the 13 years it's been alive.
What was the first iteration of Lady Business?
Oh gosh. I can't promise that I'm going to say stuff in order, but I think the very first iteration was we tried to get the audience to tell us true stories about them, but you learn really fast in this business that getting the audience to do what you want or to say what you want is like, that's dumb to even think that that's a thing, because they're not performers and they're not professional and they shouldn't be, and they're not getting paid to do this. So leave them alone and let them watch the show.
Right. And then audience is there to relax and watch and kind of let go, instead of like, oh, now I have to work for it. Or they don't know like where to go with it. Like, what do you need as far as improvisation goes in the information? Okay, so start off with that. Didn't work.
I think we did like prompts. The audience would do like prompts on paper on theme, and then we would pick them and ask them to tell us more about it. Then we did some shows where we like brought show and tell stuff from home and things along those lines. And then we started doing true stories, but I think everybody was telling a little story, and we realized that takes a long time.
Yeah.
So then we pared it down to 3 brief stories because we wanted to do more improv and less talking.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's the Lady Business that I started to watch, was the 3 true stories, jump into scenes. But I'm interested in that show and tell. Do you remember something that you brought in yourself or somebody else brought that was kind of memorable?
I brought a mobile, I think, once.
Okay.
Because somebody gave me a mobile because they think I'm a baby.
Wait, what? Okay, wait.
Actually, I feel really bad. I mean, the person's listening. I still have it, and I love it. But, so the backstory of the story I told on stage and what that mobile had to do with, which I also did stand up about years ago, is that, and in today's climate, I don't know, don't come to my house and kill me. I'm a nice Jewish girl. And people, when they find out you're you're Jewish have a tendency to then think everything they see that has a Star of David or some Jewish reference should be yours because you don't own any Jew stuff.
Oh
already.
no, I have to return your Hanukkah present.
I get a lot of Jew stuff. Like, just, what I like better than Jew stuff? Coach stuff. Just get me something nice. So anyway, but for years, people would like, oh, there's a dreidel. Mel needs this. I have dreidels. Oh, a menorah. I'll get it for Mel. Somebody got me a mezuzah, which is like a thing you put on your door so the angel of death goes by, which isn't, I think I'm safe. I'm good. I feel confident. But it was for newlyweds. I'm not married. But people, they're just like, oh, it's a Jew thing. Mel needs it. So anyway, the mobile was like a dreidel, Mickey Mouse dreidel mobile.
What?
So
Mickey Mouse is Jewish? I didn't know that.
Well, all Hollywood, you know what they say. So it was like Mickey's head with like dreidels hanging off of it. And it's adorable, and I still have it, but it was just, so I brought it to talk about Jew stuff.
Okay, follow-up question. Is this now hanging above your bed?
It's my dream catcher.
Even better.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, well, flash forward
Yes.
to present day. The show, I don't know. Every time I perform, it's just the best. It's my favorite show to be on. It is an audience favorite. It's a student favorite.
Can I say that since the first time we went, because I had never been to a show until I started taking classes, and we didn't know what to expect. And we were so just floored by how funny you guys were. And still, I think your show has the most energy, the best energy of any show I've seen there.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as just the energy of the performers, and I mean, you're just so excited to do it,
I think it's always sort of had that, and part of it is we created our own cast and we've always controlled it. So it's always been, for the most part, people that like each other and have good chemistry, and it doesn't change a lot. And when it does change, it's because somebody went to get married or moved away or whatever. But for the most part, I think it's because it is people that like work well together, have chemistry on stage, have practiced a lot together, and have a good time doing it. And so, yeah, it's my favorite show too. It's my baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is. And it's like, it's also that, it's that pre-show that we kind of have too, that what we do. I don't know, Mel, you can explain, I guess, our pre-show for Lady Business. Mm-hmm. Tell everybody what that's all about.
I mean, I think it's just about that bonding time. Like, we actually spend, a solid hour or more hanging out before the show, either drinking coffee or drinking not coffee.
Not coffee.
And just spending time catching up, hanging out. So, like, even before we start doing actual, like, improv warm-ups, we've already spent, like, an hour together just chilling and talking and catching up. And then we do some fun warm-ups and stuff just to get our brains going and our bodies going. So it's like we're solid as a team. And I think there's also just a wicked amount of trust with this team. Like I was saying earlier when I got here, before the mic was turned on, that sometimes you do stuff in a show and it doesn't work. Not because the idea wasn't great, but sometimes it's just the other person doesn't sort of have that mind meld, or they don't know what's in your head. But I know with Lady Business, like, I know that Justine's going to know what I need from her. And she's also going to know, like, oh, Mel's screwing that up, but I know what to do. I know what she wants because I've worked with her so much. Mm-hmm. And I feel like most of our cast, like, they can do that kind of intuitively, whereas other casts, sometimes if I do a bad job, somebody isn't going to be there to pick me up.
Right.
And fix it for me the way this team will.
Yeah, I feel the most comfortable with the ladies on the team. And also partly too is it's our hand squeeze before our show. Yeah.
The last little bit before we go on stage.
Yeah, so right after we warm up, we'll do like, I don't know, we'll play a round of 5 things where you name 5 things off the top of your head. And right before we get on, we all circle up and we hold each other's hands. And we start off with one squeeze and we pass the squeeze around the whole circle.
Like a little heartbeat, the little team's heartbeat.
Yeah. And I honestly don't know, as a member of this team for the past 6 years, how that started, the little hand squeeze. Do you remember?
I don't remember, but if I had to guess, I'm going to blame a cast member named Micaela, because she's like the maternal loving one, and she's like one of the founding mothers, and I'm gonna blame her. Though if it's somebody else, I apologize to whoever you are.
Yeah.
My memory is poor.
Okay.
Knowing I was coming today, I was like, I should write down who's been in the cast. If they ask me for names, I don't know if I'll remember everybody on the spot. It's been a lot of people.
We'll save that for the end. Yeah.
Run through the end. I'll just scream names at you.
We'll save that for the end.
Well, because a lot of people ask about, like, when we say, like, well, you're the last original cast member. They're like, well, what is that? Like, what do you mean? Well, literally, this team has had so many women come through them, and people move on, get married, get jobs.
Move away.
Move away, whatever. We bring in new cast members, and so it's not just been that original team. It's been a ton of women that have had the opportunity to be a part of and make this team better and grow this team. And that's really cool, too. It's giving an opportunity for women to be on a team where they're not just moms and hookers.
Yeah.
Or props.
Yeah.
Which for many years doing improv, I mean, there was some of that. I don't, honestly, at the Comedy Spot, there's always been a real push to make sure that wasn't the case. It's just inevitable when you're on a team and you're the only woman that you're going to be the mom in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
And so having a team where you can be anybody is awesome.
And I think going back to that comfortability level where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be like forced into a specific character because of my gender or anything. And that is the fun part of Lady Biz. It's like, we can be whoever, whatever. Yeah. I'll be your husband and you can also be my husband. Like that's
totally
that's
true.
super fun. So you've done the hand squeeze since the beginning, or no? It kind of just seeped in there somehow?
I think it seeped in somewhere. Again,
Okay.
I don't have good recollections of things.
Yeah.
Because it feels like everything's always been.
Yeah.
But of course it hasn't. You want people to feel that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because in improv, you're taking risks. Like, you're doing things that you would never do off the stage, in front of an audience, coming up with it on the spot. So it's an insane amount of vulnerability. And to do that with another person that has your back, then it's all smooth sailing from there.
And honestly, I mean, I have to build a lot of comfort and trust and respect with these performers, especially when they're guesting, because I am going to eventually touch them inappropriately. So I need to know it's okay in advance. It's going to be okay.
Okay, Mel, wait, now you have to, like, explain what that means. We're not
It's always with consent.
Yes, it's always with consent.
Knowing and with consent, but improv is a physical sport.
It is.
Butt touching happens with consent.
There's butt touching. Sometimes we'll get a little kiss on the stage. We get a little bit of raunchy action.
Lying on top of each other.
Yes.
Intimate. It's intimate.
Dogs doing dogs on stage.
Humping happens.
Humping will happen, everybody. Welcome to Hump Talk. All right, cool. I think that's good about Lady Business. But now I kind of want to get to know you a little bit more, Mel.
But I'm in witness protection.
Okay. All right, Jackie. Jackie Jackerson. How did you get into performing? How did you start? Do you remember maybe the first time you ever performed in front of people?
Improv or
Just in
theater at
general.
all?
Yeah, just performance wise.
When I was a kid, I would do some theater stuff and community theater stuff a little tiny bit. But I think mostly I was like the clown at the parties person. My brother's like super good looking, super smart, super athletic, super hot wife, super great kids. He's that guy. Okay. So I was like, you know what I've got? My sense of humor. I'm the weird fat kid, but I'm funny. So I capitalized on that.
Okay.
So I was always sort of the funny one, but I did some theater stuff. Mostly I was like sports kid in high school, but I did some theater stuff. But when I moved to California, it's like a sad story with a happy ending. I didn't know anybody. I was alone here. I didn't really have like a social life the first year because I was just getting to know the town and my job and stuff. And I don't even know if it still exists anymore, but I got a learning exchange flyer and it was like, take an all-day improv workshop. I was like, oh, that sounds right up my alley. And also like everything else was like skills, like photography. I'm like, I don't want to know how to do that. That's hard. Or painting. No. Making things, knitting things, doing things. I don't want to know how to do that
doing
stuff.
Things.
It's hard. Stuff's hard. I was like, comedy, I don't have to do anything. I can just stand there and be me.
Yeah.
And I did. And I made a couple of friends that I still have to this day. and I took some classes. And then what I now know now is like, just like if you're like a good looking person at the mall and they come up to you and like, you know what, the people just want to make money off of you. So this guy was like, you're hilarious. You should take more classes. What he meant was, I want more money. So I was like, you got me there. I'll do it. And so I took some more classes with him and from other places. And then one of the women in my class was like, there's auditions coming up for this place. We should go audition. I was like, oh no, we're not ready. And they're like, well, it'll just be a good experience, a fun experience, practicing, auditioning. And it's funny now, like being a member of the Comedy Spot, like I know the vibe, but at the time I was like so high strung about it. I remember messaging Brian Crawl, who's the guy that runs the place, one of my best friends, and I was like, is professional attire required? I wore like slacks and a nice shirt and nice dress shoes.
Did you print out your resume? And...
headshots.
Yeah,
everything.
right.
Oh my God.
And he said have characters prepared and have a comedic monologue prepared. Like I went into it like a real audition. Like now knowing like we were a bunch of clowns doing improv. It was just a bunch of fun, post college kids doing improv. But I had no idea, so I went in with like characters ready and all this stuff, and it was at a little local theater here in town, and I did an audition and I didn't get hired. And like a week later they were like, we changed our minds, we'd like to offer you a spot. And back then it was just a sketch group that did a little bit of improv,
right? And this is Free Hooch comedy troupe.
So that's how it started. So I think I was like second generation Free Hooch. Those guys, a bunch of friends had started this group. And then some of them were, again, getting ready to kind of move on to bigger and better things, and they were looking for new cast members. So I was like second or third generation.
Man, so you've been here literally
20 years.
20
with
years.
Brian. Yep, I've been with Brian for 20 years. I was with Brian before this Sacramento Comedy Spot existed.
That's amazing, right?
That's cool.
We had 2 other locations before this one. We had,
Well, I bet it's just kind of mind-blowing to see now how much it's expanded to the amount of people who are performing, the amount of people that are
It's a school.
taking
It's a
classes.
whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what Brian did is like mind-blowing when you think about the fact that I was we were a bunch of big drunk dummies doing comedy shows in bars. And look at us now.
Right.
Holy shit.
Well, I mean, it's like the cool thing about the whole place is like it's a platform. It's a platform in which people can learn and play and produce and perform.
And it's safe. It's the place where if you don't have a place, we're your place.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even outside of performing, there's like people who become friends, doing things outside of performing, eating crab together. It's
I mean, how would we have ever met?
no
and you're one of my best
freaking
friends.
way. Yes, there'd be no way that we would ever cross paths if it wasn't for improv.
Yeah.
Right?
I used to joke it's the perfect island of misfit toys.
It really is.
Everybody finds their person, their people. We have so many marriages and babies that have come out of this place.
That is the coolest thing. So, like, okay, so I've been teaching now I've now hit 5 years, and it's so cool now to see the generations of students that have gone through my classes who are now getting engaged and getting married and stuff like that and getting together. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know. It's just the cutest little thing because it's like, I think the reason why a lot of improvisers get together is because it's like we've done and seen each other do crazy things. And again, going back to the vulnerability thing is like you'll never see that outside of a normal relationship, right? It's the best thing.
It's better than therapy, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me transition real quick. I want to get one more thing. I need to get one more thing before we start plugging shows. Okay, so we've talked about like how Lady Business prepares for the show, but every performer has their own.
Why?
Because I want to get to know you, Mel. We got to get to know the performer. So I have my own way of before we meet up with Lady Business. So Lady Business, we meet up at 7:00, and we chill for about 45 minutes. But for every performer, like me myself, I know that on a show day that I'm anxious a little bit and I have to do certain things and I can't necessarily eat a lot. Like I can't do that. So Mel, walk me through, okay, let's say it's third Saturday of the month. You wake up in the morning. What is your day like up till 7 p.m.?
How deep do you want me to go?
Oh, I mean, go as deep as you want.
So the early part of the day is safe because anxiety hasn't quite hit. So we usually walk our dogs and have breakfast. But then the rest of the day is sort of meditation. Okay. So I don't do much. I sort of take it really easy. I have to take a nap. It has to be a 2-hour time span. I have to take care of business while napping because you can't have sex on show nights because it messes up your game. But you have to let off some steam. You have to also ladyscape because for some reason that's important.
Okay, yeah.
It just has to be trim.
Yeah.
I think I have weird issues because we do a lot of between the legs stuff. And I don't want to have swamp crotch.
Well, and like we're doing lots of lifting our arms up, you know.
So you gotta be clean, smooth.
Yeah.
You gotta be relaxed. And then once I get into the shower, I start doing mental games. So I start doing alphabet career matching. I start doing kind of the reminders of I'm the person that does this unusual thing in this unusual location. Why do I do it? Let me tell you, Mel. And then I'll start doing it out loud.
Okay.
Oh, I'm a baker, but I'm a vampire. Where am I a baker vampire? Well, I'm in Pennsylvania, of course. And so I play these games out.
All while you're shaving your armpits.
All while I'm shaving my body, yes.
Your whole body.
My whole body, top to bottom, like a swimmer. Top to bottom. You have to do a full loofah on show days. Full loofah.
All right.
Yeah, and then the whole drive, I have to listen to K-Zap.
Okay.
On the way.
You have to.
You have to listen to K-Zap. Okay. And then when they're done, you turn the radio off because K-Zap ends, I believe, earlier than when we meet.
And what type of music are we talking about?
Classic rock.
Oh, classic rock. Okay.
It's kind of stuff you wouldn't always hear on the radio, though. They pick good, like, off the beaten path music.
Okay.
Like, you'll hear... It doesn't matter. Anyway, I like it. Or I'll listen to my music, but then the last bit of the drive, like the last 10 or 15 minutes, is in silence again. If I have a story that I'm telling, I run through my story and I'll time it in the car as I'm driving. If not, I'm just running through the who are you, where are you, what do you do, why do you do it, what's unusual about it, why is it funny?
Going through the basics, the foundation. If you're new to improv and you have no idea what Mel is talking about, that is basically just laying out the foundation of the scene, the key sort of pieces of information you need to start the scene, to get us going in a scene. Okay, good.
And reminders, like just little stuff like remember to come off the back wall, remember blah, 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 say what you want, say it, play it, try to be action, be the unusual person, because I have a tendency sometimes to switch scenes, which doesn't matter, it's too hard to explain, but I'll be the boring person, and when you initiate, you're supposed to be the not boring person, whatever.
Yeah.
So all that kind of stuff. But I don't eat the rest of the day, just breakfast.
And then you get to the coffee shop.
And then I try to just be in the moment with the team and not think about my story anymore. Once I get there, I'm either ready to go or I'm not.
And here's another thing too, is like Mel said at the beginning, is we tell 3 true stories. And so 3 cast members are, they volunteer or are picked out of a hat. It's whoever's hosting that month. And that is like the most stressful part, is either it's coming up with a story, but also making sure that you have incorporated enough patterns. And I think that's the thing with Lady Business. We have sort of an advantage, right? Is we can pre-think of our stories, and we can also lay out specific patterns in there. Because that's all the stories are about. But that's the most stressful part, is like, okay, I need to get it within this amount of time, get all the good information out. And that's the only like stressful part about it, is thinking of my story.
Like just to play the opposite side of all my positivity and sunshine, because everyone knows I'm a negative, nasty bitch most of the time. 2 things that always have bothered me with improvisers is people that say like, oh, I don't prepare that kind of stuff because I just want to improvise it. And it's like, no, if you're telling a story, it's for the team. It's not for the audience. It's to set your team up to be successful. It's the same thing as when people say, I just want to have fun. If you just want to have fun, that's great. But if people are paying money for it,
Yeah.
it's got to be so much more than that. Because people will be like, Mel, you've been doing this for 20 years, and you say like you get so nervous and you get show stomach. Why are you so nervous? And I'm like, because I care about the show I'm about to put up, and I want the audience to get their money's worth every time.
Yeah.
It's not about me having a good time. That should be part of it, because if I'm having a good time, it's probably going to be a good show. But it's got to be about doing a quality work like any other job should be. We get paid for this, and people are paying their hard-earned money for it.
Exactly.
So if we're not giving them a product that's worth selling, me having fun isn't good enough.
Right? We're putting on the best that we have, no matter
Exactly.
what. I mean, and it's different too. Like when you take classes, you're coming up with stories on the spot based on a suggestion. And that's when you come up with that on the spot. But our show format is we have that privilege of knowing the theme, knowing where we want to go with it, and perfecting it however we want. And that is our bread and butter of our show. It's just like if there's good content in the story, that leads to good scenes, really fun characters and stuff like that.
I already have a rough draft.
Oh yes, because we have a show December
weeks.
17th at 8 p.m. And I'm going to take this time now. Let's plug the show. So Mel, you are hosting this show. Explain what's going on. What's the big deal about this show?
So this is my last show. I'm retiring after 20 years of doing improv. So this will be my last show. So I'm going to host it to sort of wave goodbye to everybody and thank everybody for being there. I felt like I should host the last one. Yeah. So I'm going to have 2 shows that night. 1 at 8 is Lady Business, and 9 o'clock is Anti-Cooperation League. And the theme for Lady Business is goodbye, good luck, and see you later. Because I figured that was apropos of me heading out the door. So.
Man, I still get sad thinking of it because I've been here since I think I was put on the show like 2016 or something like that. And it's always just been a pleasure to know that Mel will have your back. Like, and there'll be times like where nobody's stepping out, but Mel will have something or something crazy or something silly, or she's not even talking in a scene. She's just playing a monkey. But you know, it's going to be good. And so like, I'm like, okay, well, we're just going to have to carry on your legacy and carry on your spirit, after you're gone.
Damn well better.
How did you decide that now was the time?
There was a lot of sort of factors that went into it, but to be perfectly honest, I don't feel as sharp as I used to, and it's starting to sort of wear me down on stage that I can't hold as much stuff in my head. I don't feel quick. I don't feel fast. I don't feel flexible. Like I can't die in a scene anymore because I can't get my old ass up. So, I think it just sort of felt like I want to go out at a good time and I don't want the team to be like, damn, I wish she would leave already. I think I want to leave at a time where I feel like I'm still contributing and I don't want to kind of hit the peak and go over the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
And also after 20 years, I feel like I've done everything I need to do and I'm ready to have Saturday night dinners at home.
Yes.
It's part of it. It's funny. I was thinking about it. I think we're in our 13th year.
Yeah.
And I have missed in 13 years of Lady Business 2 shows.
Wow.
I don't get sick, apparently. That's good. I missed 1 show because I had a hysterectomy. I think that was fair.
Yeah, that's super fair.
Take a little break. And then I missed the other show because I had a temper tantrum once.
Oh, fun.
And I was like, I'm not doing the show this month. And I regretted the decision, but I felt like I had to stand by it.
Yeah, we all need that. We all need a little little break. I mean, albeit you've only missed 2 shows, Mel, out of so let's do the math. 156
So we'll say I've done about 150 Lady Business shows.
Holy crap.
Wow.
That's a lot of
people
shows.
joke about, like, I finally said a couple months back, like, I'm not doing any more true stories. I'm out. I have not one more true story. Now you know why. That's 150 true stories, give or take.
Yeah.
Like, I ran out of ideas, man.
Yeah.
I got nothing. And I stopped having life experiences.
Mel, you were just in a tree for
true.
your birthday.
I did. I stayed in a yurt.
She stayed in a yurt tree.
That is so cool.
That is
Treehouse
like,
yurt.
That is pretty
Do it.
cool.
It's fun.
Okay. Sponsored by a yurt tree.
Yeah, we'll give them a plug.
Oh, yeah.
Sonoma Canopy Tours. Worth every penny.
Okay.
Nice.
We'll do a podcast together. Just Mel.
Can we? Maybe
from
they'll
the
give us a
tree.
free-
Yeah, we'll take some ayahuasca and talk
Get a
about
free
it.
year. It has room for 4.
Okay.
Fun.
One more person. Who is it? It's going to
We'll be
be...
calling them after the show.
Yeah. Let's call them right now.
Raffle.
We'll just send them the part with their name in it.
Yeah. Look, we did it. Well, Mel, I love you so
Me
much.
too.
I love you so much, and thanks for being on the show. I'm looking forward to the final lady business of
I am
your
too. I'm
lifetime.
really excited. You didn't ask me, and I brought notes. There have been
okay, yes.
16 prior cast members, 6 current cast members, which means 22 women have graced the lady business stage at some point.
Mel, can you give us the list of names that you wrote down on this binder paper?
Yes, are you ready?
I'm ready. Here we go.
Stacy, Brittany, Tiffany, Becca, Lisa, Michaela, Migs, Sarah, Bailey, Jen, Christiana, Molly, Julie, Allison, Hillary, Kim, me, Justine, Saba, Peach, Dobbs, Corrine.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And more to come. You know, that's the beautiful thing about Lady Business is like all of the, original cast members have come and gone, come back to perform and guest perform. But the thing is, it's like Lady Business, that whole thing lives on. It will live on no matter what.
Better, I will cut a bit.
You're gonna cut 6 bitches on the cast. But that's the cool thing is like the people who are coming up through the classes, like that is their goal. They're like, I want to be on Lady Business. That was my goal. The first time I ever saw Lady Business, I was like, I want to be up there. They're having so much fun. I want to get up on there and do some weird shit with them. And it's that legacy that continues to grow. So thank you for everything. And Jen, do you have any like outsider questions?
I don't know about questions so much, but will you be coming back as a guest performer once in a while?
I'm still debating on that. My standards for myself are so high that I worry that if I'm gone for a month or two, I won't trust myself to get back on stage and be at a level that I would feel would be quality. But it's not off the table. But I'm going to take a couple months to do nothing and relax. And then we'll see.
Yeah.
You could probably just come back and say a story, maybe. Come back as a monologist or something.
Yeah.
With some new true stories.
Or don't come back at all. You can go move and live up at Sonoma Yurt Trees.
That's
what it's called, right?
Yes, that's
I
exactly
will say,
right.
as an audience member, we love the Comedy Spot so much and Lady Business, and it's become part of our routine to come and watch both of you in the show. So it's going to be missing you. We'll miss you for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, and many people will.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice sentiment. It's nice to have left some sort of mark. I mean, I don't have children. I don't have much legacy, but I feel like I have this, and I'm proud of it.
You did good, Mel.
Oh, thanks,
You
Mom.
did good. This is the part where I bring out my violin and play you off like a Titanic.
Thank goodness for Stacy, Beckley, and Michaela Pettigrew, because without them, this wouldn't have happened. So, I mean, I regularly kind of reach out to Michaela and just be like, you did really good. 'Cause
Seriously.
This worked out really, really well.
It's like the best thing. It's
Because
the
I didn't start this group. They came to me
Right.
and were like, do you want to be a cast member on this thing we're doing? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Thank you, Stacy and Michaela. The legacy lives on. Lady Business forever. Well, I feel like that's it. That's the end of the podcast. Hey, this was episode 1, and I wanted Mel on here because I love her so much. Not only is she leaving me, and I hate her for it, but I knew you'd be perfect. So, Mel, do you want to share your social media or anything? Where can people find you?
Just come to the Comedy Spot.
Yeah.
Somebody sent me a message on Instagram today. I don't know how it works. Just don't. I mean, you can follow
Mail
me,
me
but
a
there's
letter.
nothing. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but I don't really understand any of it. And I don't.
She's
use
on
it.
Carrier Pigeon.
Yes.
You can fax
Fan
her.
mail to the Comedy Spot.
Fan mail.
Somebody sent me a video today, and I was like, just tell me what it was.
Describe it to me.
She did. She's like, it's a video about what a good friend you are. I was like, oh, that's nice. I didn't watch it. I don't know how to find it.
I love it so much. Okay, Mel, well, I love you, and thank you so much. Jen, thank you, of course.
You.
This has been a wonderful little conversation that we had.
And our plan moving forward with the Comedy Spot podcast is to bring in people and performers from the Comedy Spot to talk about a lot like we talked about today, who they are and what they're doing and about the shows coming up. So please check back for future episodes.
Absolutely.
for
Thanks
having
everybody.
me.
Thanks, Mel.
Bye, guys.
This has been a Steel Voices production, recorded and produced at Cat House Studios by Justine Lopez and Jennifer Steele. Mixed and engineered by Jennifer Steele. Find full episodes of Behind the Scenes at the Sacramento Comedy Spot at steelvoices.com and saccomedyspot.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Special thanks to the Sacramento Comedy Spot. Thank you for listening to Behind the Scenes at the Sacramento Comedy Spot.